Hello and welcome back to TriggerSmart. Previously, we tested frangible ammo, and I've been looking around for Accelerator and didn't have time to get it. So what I did is I went to some other YouTubers who have tested this out, including one who tested it out specifically for the Charlie Kirk case purpose, and we're going to see what happened. But first, what is a 30-06 Accelerator round? Make sure you guys check these guys out too. This is LT Arms. The 30-06 Accelerator is wilder than you think.
Welcome back to LT Arms Cartridge of the Week. This week we'll look at one of the great oddities, the 30-06 Remington Accelerator. The Accelerator cartridges were introduced in 1977 and were made in three case sizes, 30-30, 308, and 30-06. The idea was to seat a 22 caliber bullet in a plastic 30 caliber sabot to give hunters a high-speed varmint round they could use in their existing 30 caliber hunting rifle. In theory, it worked great. 22-250 performance out of your 308 rifle. In reality, not so much. The plastic sabot engraved the rifling, then fell off after exiting the muzzle. The bullet, which had no imparted spin, would begin to tumble, and accuracy was lost.
So a quick summary of what he's saying. There's a 22 caliber bullet, which is the same as a 5.56 round in an AR-15. It's in a larger casing with more gunpowder, so it has a lot of velocity. It's a very, very fast round. And he says, like, typically choose for varmints, right? If you're shooting coyotes or, some other kind of problem animal on your property, for example. And the issue with it is that the barrel is a certain size, okay? And as that bullet goes through there, since it's smaller than the 30-06 size, it's not attaching to the rifling properly and it's not stabilizing properly. So as it goes and it exits the barrel, it's not going to be spinning in a manner which keeps that bullet stable as it goes through flight. So it's going to start to tumble and move and shift. Now, this is interesting because that could explain, theoretically, the wound that we saw on Charlie, how it was large and awkward and didn't fit a typical entrance wound. Because if that bullet was coming in, but it wasn't going straight, if it was already spinning in the air, right, vertically, and it hit that way, then that might explain what we saw. That might explain a larger wound. That might explain, possibly, if the coroner report and everything is correct, that could explain the fact that it hit his vertebrae and stayed in his body. So let's look a little bit further. And next we have the CR42 Hunting 99 channel.
Could a 30-06 round moving at 4,000 feet per second be stopped by a human neck? In this video, we put it to the test.
But he hit the vertebra, crushed it, shattered it, turned, and kept going down all the way. I think they said C6.
Damn! What round is moving at 4,000 feet per second? This, the Remington Accelerator. A 22 caliber bullet stuffed into a 30-06 case with a plastic sabot. Our control would be shooting a federal 30-06 180 grain fusion tips. We'll go back 140 yards and shoot both of these into the meat target, backed by steel, backed by water jugs. Up first, a federal fusion tipped. Complete devastation as you would expect. Went right through the meat target, right through the steel, and blew up the water jugs. And now, the accelerator round. Remington Accelerator round blew up the meat target, blew up the steel, and then busted through and hit our water jugs.
He used this specialty accelerator round, and he basically got the same results that I did with the frangible ammo. It went straight through, just like you would expect, and it had a lot of damage as well. And then we have here First Shot TV. Make sure you guys go check him out. He has some very interesting videos, including some like air rifle videos. And I think he does a really good job here. He's basically investigating if the accelerator round could have been used with the 30-06 to take out Charlie Kirk.
The 30-06. We have tested this thing multiple times. We've even done 2 or 3 videos since the assassination actually happened. And in every one of them, you can really see how powerful this round actually is. It's not an easy bullet to stop. I believe it's blown through everything we've shot with it so far. Most people are just not buying the official narrative that this is the caliber he was shot with, because as you probably know, they are claiming the bullet stopped in Charlie's body and there was no exit wound. However, there is one very interesting round that we have not tested or discussed yet, and this has been a growing theory that I've seen popping up online over the last few weeks. It's definitely gaining some momentum, and that is the 30-06 Accelerator round. So these are extremely unique, very hard to find these days. I basically just had to put the word out on Instagram that I was looking for them, and I knew you guys would come through. I found a few online, and then we got the rest from a fellow gun tuber called Buffman Range. I just want to see what kind of results we get out of the Accelerator versus the regular Full Metal Jacket ball round. On the table here, once again, we have 3 pork shoulders. After the first 2, I have placed 2 beef femur bones. This is very similar to the first test that we did. The only difference is I did include a pineapple after our third pork shoulder. Both of these, or all three of these, do have bones in them. You can see those bones right there on the right side of the pork shoulders. That's where I'm going to try to place the bullet. So if it gets to the femur bones, it's already went through, you know, 2 pork shoulders with bones in them. And then we have a third one behind it. And the last video, it went through all of this plus both of the 5-gallon water jugs that we had in the back.
So really quick, put down in the comments, do you think that the accelerator round is going to go through everything just like the regular round did?
All right, here we go. 30-06 accelerator round versus meat. Perfect hit.
Now, I want you to pay attention to what that did to the flesh. Even with this accelerator round, granted, it is closer, but this round can travel long distances, right? Like 600, 700, 800 yards pretty easily. So you just saw that it just basically blew it apart. So even if it did stay in his body, the damage would be catastrophic.
Man, it did a number on that first pork shoulder. These things kind of gross me out, I'm going to be honest.
Now, remember that this pork shoulder, this would be his neck. Okay. So you'll see here in a second, it did stop in the second one, but it blew through the first one and annihilated the bone and everything.
It just shattered the bones. You can see where it opened up. I don't see a whole lot of like signs of our bullet. It looks like it mainly just blew this thing apart entirely. Yeah, that's pork shoulder number 1. And this is pork shoulder number 2. It looks like it's sitting exactly where it was when we took the shot. And I believe that is an entrance hole right there. If we look at the back, absolutely nothing. So there's not even an exit hole on our second pork shoulder.
This may sound to some people like, hey, this is possible then, right? But you have to remember, he's already shot through one pork shoulder with a bone in it that is about the size of a human neck, and it went through that, annihilated it, blew apart the bone and everything, and then it went into a second one. Okay, so now let's play devil's advocate. If you had a case where you had this particular 30-06 accelerated round, and you were shooting it from 140 yards, and like I was saying before, it starts to tumble in the air because it's not stabilized properly, because the rifling doesn't make contact with the bullet because the bullet's smaller than the barrel, then you can run into a situation where maybe this could happen, right? Because when it's like in this case, he was close enough that it was basically going like a rocket, right? It was going straight through. So obviously it tumbles and stuff when it hits the flesh, but 140 yards further back, there might be time for it to actually turn in the air and actually hit vertically, okay? And that might explain a larger open wound. And as you can see here, it stopped when it hit the bone inside this meat. Now, granted, this was the second pork shoulder. It already blew apart the first one. So is this conclusive? I don't know. It's very interesting, though.
There you go. That looks like the copper jacket. A little bit more copper jacket. And then I assume the lead soft point just disintegrated on impact, basically. Well, unless I see something different on the high-speed footage, I think that kind of answers the question. That bullet literally came to a stop in 4 or 5 inches of meat and bone. It absolutely annihilated the first one. Bones and everything just blew right through that. But basically, as soon as it hit number 2, it came to a stop. And that right there is exactly why I'm not making any definitive statements on this, because ammo does matter, and there's a lot of different 30-06 rounds out there that do very different things.
I think that I agree with him in this case. Based on what you see here, it is possible that this accelerator type round or something else may have hit Charlie based on the angle, and it's tilting and that kind of stuff in midair. It's not going in straight, so it's not aerodynamic. It's hitting maybe vertically or at a slight angle, and that could cause it to stay within the body, cause a larger wound, and maybe do some of the damage they say happened. We don't know if anything's actually confirmed for the autopsy, but this is very interesting. I'm glad he did this test. Like he said, he's like 50-50. I think I'm probably similar. And this doesn't have to be this specific round. It could be another type of ammo. It could be specialty load. It could be a lighter grain bullet, even than this. This in a 30-06 casing. But don't forget, they said they have the casing. Remember? They said they have the gun and the casings and multiple extra bullets. And they said the casing that he shot was supposedly still in the rifle itself. So they should know exactly what it is. So maybe we'll find out in trial. But I'm curious, what are your thoughts? Obviously, go check out the full video at First Shot TV. I'll link it down in the description below. But let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think that this round, considering that it can tumble in the air and not be as aerodynamic and not be stabilized, do you think from what you saw that this could be a possibility for an actual 30-06 bullet assassinating Charlie Kirk? As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this around. And I'll see you on the next one.